Welcome to the Fellowship of the Ring. The Lord of the Rings is here. This is part 1, and it's a review. Alright, here we go. Now, this is the Fellowship of the Ring review. So, here's the thing. One ring to rule them all. If you actually read the beginning lines of this whole book, not including the description and the this stuff, you actually see the first poem in the book. 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne, in a land of Mordor where shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, in the darkness bind them, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. This is basically how it actually all came out. The forging of the great rings actually happened in the very first age, and this is when everything started coming clear. So you were given to the elves, who were the fairest, immortal, and the wisest. The 7 were given to the dwarf lords, master craftsmen and miners and all those kinds of things. And then 9 were given to mortal men, who, above all other species, actually want the power the most. But the thing is, all of them were actually deceived. They were each given these rings with the ability to be able to go ahead and rule their own people with the power that was needed. However, they were all of them deceived, because another ring was forged. In the lands of Mordor, in the darkness of the forge, a master ring was created to be able to control all of them. In fact, it's because of this master ring that all the people who actually wore the rings had no power at all. And all the people and the free people of Middle-earth started actually becoming, well, unfree. And so a last alliance of men and elves actually came ahead, and they went ahead and defeated the Dark Lord by the king's son. After seeing his dad was dead, it cut off the finger of the Dark Lord Mordor, which in turn destroyed him, sort of, and preserved him in the ring. Anyways, the guy put the ring on, and he realized he had invisibility powers, but he had this one chance to go ahead and destroy all evil, and he did not. And with that, he just went ahead and, well, become really corrupted. That happened. And then later he was ambushed by orcs. And then he put on the invisibility ring, but the ring betrayed him. He was shot by arrows. And then the next thing that happened was that Gollum found it. Seamus found it. And then again Gollum found it next. And so all that happened. And then what happened next was actually a pretty big mystery in the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. Then Mr. Bilbo Baggins found it. Wait, you're not Bilbo Baggins, hang on. And then Mr. Bilbo Baggins found it while trying to play riddle games with Gollum, and he won. And the next thing that happened is that Bilbo Baggins, after that, gave it to Frodo. And that was basically the end of it all. Or is it? Well, this is a review, people, and so I actually want to make you guys actually think about this whole book itself. Lord of the Rings was originally written by J.R.R. Tolkien, and he was originally thought it was like a national treasure. Also, that's what some people actually say. Actually, that's what some people say. However, it is probably just one of the biggest reasons why J.R.R. Tolkien actually wrote this book and The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and those other books related to Middle-earth. It's probably because he just wanted to create a mythology for England. Now, of course, that was what he said was one of the reasons when he literally wrote The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. However, there are other reasons to do it too. He wrote it for the kids. And people started liking it so much, he also started writing a whole religion. He created languages, he created songs, he created stories, he created lore, he created myths, he created everything. He created the perfect world, the myth for England, because England, by then, didn't really have any myths. They didn't really believe in any specific god. And then the Romans, the Greeks, they all had those kinds of myths and Greeks and songs and customs and those kinds of things. And all of them were probably forgotten by then. However, J.R.R. Tolkien also wanted something for England. He didn't say he made them, he invented them. He invented them and he gave it to the world so that he could do everything he wanted to. This book itself actually sounds very English. It's also a very dialected all the way to English people, because also when I read it, I always think I'm reading it as if an English person is actually reading all this. Like by English, I mean British. And so that happened. And lots of things here are actually things that Beowulf did. Of course, also things Beowulf did are in here, and also other things happen too. J.R.R. Tolkien, of course, put into this book experiences that he got by reading the poems of Beowulf, the epics, and he also has his own experiences in trench warfare in World War One. Because apparently in World War One, he realized that all the pre-20th century chivalric knights, heroism and chivalry, all as actually useless in the trench warfare of the 20th century. And so he decided that this new hero, instead of Beowulf tackling problems with a sword, this hero would be using wit, mind, and more modernly ideas. And that's pretty good, because the book itself shows that things are outdated and sometimes a new, not charging at the enemy, don't try to die strategy, not that kind of strategy actually works. Like, thinking actually works. Not like, sometimes it works, like the strategy, run into the enemy, don't try to die. Try not to die, those kind of things. Those don't actually work that well too. But the thing about this book that makes it different from every other book is that it's basically the baseline to creating all our fantasy novels, because this book actually popularized orcs, elves, hobbits, those kind of things. Hobbits themselves haven't actually appeared in any other book because those apparently are copyrighted characters. But the thing is, this book itself gives us a mythology for England, a little lore, and also gives us a whole new world to explore. It's like those games where you can just go ahead, they give you songs, they give you customs, they give you literal ideas and mythology. It's like you're going to Rome, but it's not Rome, it's England. And Scotland and Ireland, also Britain, basically, Britain. So hopefully you guys actually enjoy this episode, and really actually read the book. J.R.R. Tolkien is an awesome guy at writing stories. So hopefully you guys actually enjoy this book. Go roam Middle Earth yourself by looking at whether it's Bilbo Baggins or Frodo Baggins, whatever. Hope to see you guys soon. Next time, Shania, peace. Oh yeah, and don't wear a ring, and always wear a helmet.